3,
Very
2,
good.
1.
Very good.
Pedro, a palavra é sua. Pedro, professor Pedro, a palavra é do senhor, já pode começar.
Ok. Bom, gente, nós estamos introduzindo a vocês agora uma palestra do Dr. Denis Puchkov, que é da Federação Russa. O Denis, assim como eu, ele é diretor da Sociedade Internacional de Criminologia, especialista em crimes cibernéticos, no espaço, né, no espaço cibernético, e é promotor de diversos eventos jurídicos aqui na Rússia. Eu digo aqui porque agora nós estamos juntos, né? E eu pedi a ele, nós, Lélio e eu, pedimos a ele que fizesse uma pequena palestra para os interessados na questão de crimes cibernéticos. Particularmente, eu estou, assim, na expectativa que ele fale sobre a lei de proteção de dados, né? Porque a nossa lei de proteção de dados ainda é muito incipiente, para dizer pouco. Enfim, nós vamos ver como isso está caminhando na Rússia e também na Europa no momento. Okay, Denis, I just introduced you, and I mentioned that you might treat this, you are going to expose the model about telecommunications. I would like very much you to explain the difference between cybernetics, telecommunication, computers, just the way you introduced us a moment ago. Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. One moment, please. Oh, sorry. Have you listened me? No?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay. Have you listened me?
Yes.
Good. So, have you seen presentation, guys?
Yes.
So we were talking about the special model of the criminal law protection of telecommunication from unlawful encroachments. So just for your understanding, so we have to frame some, just not definition, but some words. So, and first of all, what we have to understand, this is criminal law model. Yeah, and just this criminal law model has to protect telecommunications. So I'm going to be it's not technology exactly, but what kind of we protect, So we protect exactly our communications. And telecommunication is a kind of communications. So it's just only kind of. So we have a many difference. So we will start just how many? Sorry. Okay, I got the second slide. Oh my God. Sorry. Позовите Леру, не вижу я. Позовите Леру, не работает. Sorry. The screen. Аня, позовите Леру. One moment, sorry. How I can use it? Sorry.
Professor Denis.
Yeah.
I think you need to change to that big presentation, that big...
I will try.
There is another alternative when you share to that because there are two windows to your presentation. You need to use another.
To be honest, Professor Braga, I need only my assistant. It's easy.
It's easy, but it
yes. Now I call you. Sorry, call her. Аня, позови, пожалуйста, Леру. Аня, ты здесь?
Vai apresentando o professor, então, aí, enquanto...
Ele está chamando o assistente, porque senão não funciona, tá vendo? Bom, O que o Denis vai fazer é realmente mostrar um modelo, né, um modelo desenvolvido por ele ou pela equipe dele, para o controle de telecomunicações, para proteção das telecomunicações de ataques criminosos. Ok, Denis?
She come. So we will have just some roadmap. We will have three parts of our presentation. The first part is exactly just protection of telecommunications through development of the modern society. So we will talk about development in our society. Another one is just some general overview of cyber crimes. So and just to be honest, I will say just about not only just crimes in Russia, but also crime in just in the world as well. So yeah, and the last part is the criminal law protection of the telecommunications. Sorry, in the Russian Federation. So in the legalata and the lega ferenda. So okay, good, perfect. So let me start from the first part. Okay, good. So let me start from the first part. This protection of telecommunication through development of the modern society. So first of all, we'll talk about definition, as I say, nature, and role of telecommunication in cyber technologies. Interactions of cyber technologies with law and morality. Sorry. Sorry. Some interaction. Sorry. Где? Открой мне, пожалуйста. Yeah. Then some interaction of cyber technology with law and morality. This is really important. And the last one is interaction of cyber technology with the criminal law, some connections. So just we will connect with the cyber technology from the start, then some about morality and just the law, because it's really important for making crime or just making some law of crime from morality. And the last one, this is some role, cyber technology and criminal law, and some just a connection, as I say, interaction. So let me start just from the definition, nature and role of telecommunication. So the concept of technology, to be honest, it's not just really young, just we know about that from the really past. It's introduced Beckman in his work Emmanuel Beckman in his work Introduction to Technology 1777 years, in order to design the craft art, which includes empirical ideas and professional skills about labor operations in tools. So to be honest, just this one, this technology makes in order to make easier labor operations. So, and we always just use this technology exactly for this point. So the task of technology development of modern society is what? We mean just some technologies development as well. This informatization of society, and also search to alternative energy sources, also just development of biochemical technologies and how we could say biotechnologies, and active search new material for different areas of production. So Pedro, is understandable for Professor Braga? So do you need some translation for him or not? Or you translate interpreting?
It's very clear. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. So you see presentation?
Yes.
Good. So next slide. Definition, nature, and role. Just so what we have said. When people just invent or create smart machines, how to say just today, but also just for smart machines, we can explain the smart machines is also robots. Then people just do it because they are secretly disappointed in their own mind, were exhausted under the weight of helps and monstrous intellect. In this case, they drive the mind into machines so that they can play with it or mock it. To entrust one's own intelligence to a machine means freedom from various claims to knowledge. So it's just not from me, it's from Jean Baudrillard. It's a very nice, just not the definition, but some notes about why we use the machines. So because we don't need to use our knowledge. From first point of view, just we can say, oh, okay, this is a really good idea. But from the second, just I can use some really simple things. For example, how many just use your knowledge for drive car, or just you always use navigator in your phone. So mostly we use navigator. So that's why, for example, many people right now don't remember some just way to home or maybe to another some destinations. So because they don't need it, because they have a navigator. So from the first point of view, it's really good idea, use navigator, use technology for doing something simple, And also, do you remember just some phone numbers in your phone? No, because you have 1,000 numbers. So you use just your phone for that. So your knowledge, just a simple things, gone from just remember some ways, gone from remember just from context, and also gone for calculating something because you have a calculator. So that's why we use machine. That's why we need machine, because it's really hard to remember that, to calculate many things, and also it's really hard to memory many contacts, many things, like a big data. That's why, because we have a lot of information in our brain, we need a machine. So that's why we have machine right now. So next slide. Cybernetic technologies, or just really simple definition, cyber technologies, we can say. What is that? So we make some own definition. It's maybe a little bit harder, but anyway, I have to say, what is that? Are a set of interactions. It's really important because it's exactly interactions, so many interactions. That's why we say about setting of interactions. And this is not just interaction, but this interaction of specific processes and computer equipment. Because this specific processes exactly using in the computer equipment. But why I can say computer equipment? Because I can't say like you can always computer, but also just in smartphone, because we also talk about electronic and information telecommunication system. This is really important. And all of this system, I can say, because it's included all of things. It's from the first point of view, maybe just it's really easier, but we can say we have a computer techniques, and also we have some telecommunication systems. This is really important in information systems and electronic systems as well. Because we don't have only computers. We have smartphones. We have some other dates and some another devices which we use it. And all of this is of set of interactions. But this interactions not just only for something, but this or only just for for some simple things, but for exactly target and for exactly task. And as I say, these systems aimed at creating or transforming information, a unique information environment. This is really important. We can say cyberspace or cybersphere. It's some different, say. So in some environment as well, I can just say this is like a synonym, as well as high-speed telecommunication management of information, and then information environment in cyberspace. So why I said high-speed telecommunication management? Because first of all, just for your understanding, is cyber, which when we mean cyber is just a process of management. But when we use the cyber technologies, it's always with a task, or just have a task and achieved their point, the target, as fast as you can. And today we can say that we can make can make this information just really, really faster. It's gonna be just less than seconds, many times, we can say. So today, humanity has to understand that in the real world there are no clear boundaries between various previously dehamatus and phenomena, to be honest. Because before we have it, but today we don't have it. Absolutely, because we don't have any borders. That's why this crime is really too hard to find it, to research it, and that's why there's many problems which we have. So it's understand, guys. Maybe just it's a little bit difficult, but anyway, just I can try to explain as just easier as I can. Can I use another slide? Yeah, I can use it. So, in order to understand this definition about cyber technologies, which included some words about cyberspace, we have to understand what is cyberspace, because this syntax of these interactions make a cyberspace. And we can say this is cyberspace. It's a unique environment. It's not located in space, accessible to everyone through access to the internet. So everybody can use it. So, and absolutely everywhere. How we can do today, for example, you stay in Brazil, I stay in Russia. Between us, don't have any borders, and it's easy to us to reach each other, keep in touch, talking, and do it or just a conference like today. So, but we use internet. What is internet means? So this definition from the case of Supreme Court of the United States, 1997. So the internet is a global association of computer networks, information resources that does not have a clearly defined owner and serves for interactive telecommunications of individual and legal entities. What does it mean? So quite interesting. From the first point of view, it's like a global association of computer networks. But as you know, this internet made by the United States, and United States have a control of the internet. This one is a problem, just in my opinion, because it's not sovereign for us with the internet or just cyberspace. So another definition we have in quite interesting in the law of Ukraine. It's Article 1 of the law of Ukraine on the basics of ensuring cybersecurity of Ukraine. And this is really interesting definition of cyberspace, another one. It's an environment that provides opportunities for communication, I understand that, and or the implementation of public relations formed as a result of the functioning of joint communication system and the provision of electronic communication using the internet, other data transmission networks. It's quite interesting. Also, it's not only just about internet, but also we're talking other data. Because somebody said to me that that computer information is just only information, but data is just way. It's just a way to collect this information. But just in my opinion, data, it's also information. It's not only just way, but this is also information, but this is setting of information because it's included many information. We have the big conversation, big discussion about my point, but I absolutely agree with Ukrainian lawyers that other data transmission networks also just make a cyberspace. Okay, so the next slide. Also, just following these two definitions, we made our own definition of cyberspace, and we connect this definition just together. What we did. So this cyberspace is an information and telecommunication network. I agree with Ukraine, or networks within the boundaries of which thanks to telecommunication process, information is created a unique information environment. This is much important, unique information environment and conditions for high-speed communicative management of them with a combination of interaction of specific processes and computer equipment, electronic and information and telecommunication system, as well as necessary software. So this some technologies words, but this is also really important for lawyers for understand what we have to connect. So in this definition of cyberspace, we have some connection, information and telecommunication network with processes and computer equipment as well. And also, I just talking about some necessary software, because this software is also really important and have to be protected. So without that, we can't make a cyberspace, to be honest. So yeah, it's a really interesting just also point which we put it here. So every person that has an information and communication device like a smartphone as well, tool or service for professional or private matters needs to protect its telecommunication through not only technical but also legal means and tools. Just in my opinion, it's absolutely understandable, because today you have just your own environment, not your environment just around you, like people, like just your home, but also your environment, which just included in your smartphone, because you have pictures, you have just emails, some messages, so many things, and also this many things has to be protected because it's a private. This is your private territory, but we can say this is private digital territory. So, and this has to be protected. So now we have to talk about how. We have to talk about criminal law policy. And in this criminal law policy in this sphere, this telecommunication sphere. So we can say the criminal law policy in the field of telecommunications should be a set of principles, goals, objectives, and directions of criminal law impact on cybercrime and means of achieving them, expressed in legislative regulations and criminal law norms aimed at achieving cybersecurity conditions. So this is just really important things. What we have to do, we have to just find some principles, some goals, objectives, and directions in criminal law, and also just impact on cybercrime. It's also really important to research for criminologists, for criminology, because we have to research this really phenomena, we can say, of cybercrime, because we don't have understandable some principles and also ethics, which is really important also. Because we have a classic ethics in our nature, in our environment, but this is completely different environment. So just go to a little bit fast, my other slides, I can say. So today, in the cyberspace, it's really easy to make a crime, because you are absolutely invisible. Nobody see you, and it's easy to cheat somebody, to make a harassment about woman or about another one, to make a crime as well, because people who make a crime, just a criminal, just say, okay, nobody see, So, and it's quite interesting. Because this is crime invisible for all, and also just maybe sometimes for criminal. That's why it's really easy to make a crime. So we have to understand also who is the criminal. So just I'm going a little bit faster. But anyway, Achieving this goal, which I mean is about the criminal law policy, first of all, they need to develop the basic provisions of criminal law to criminalize the following acts. So what we have to do, we have to criminalize, because, day by day, from, as I remember, 1979, it was the first crime in the New York, not in the British, it happens. So we just met face to face something new crime which we didn't see before. So, and today we can say, so the criminalization has to just make it computer forgery, computer sabotage, unauthorized data interceptions, spreading spam, collecting of electronic information by misleading, crimes related to protected information, including revealing state secrecy. So this crime, we have to say this is crime, but unfortunately today it's not making law about crime. It's not criminalization by law, but this is crime. So it's just, we talk about some definition, we understand this definition, what we have to do, and what kind of criminal law policy we will have, and also what goals we will have. So let me start from another part. So introduction of cyber technologies with the law and morality. I really love this part of my presentation, is this part of my dissertation as well, because morality in the criminal law just have a really, really important part, and just the morality make a crime, because just it's easier for students to understand this. If this behavior unmoral in society, this behavior or just this action, sorry, not behavior but also action, has to be criminalized. So this is really important. And we have the same things in the cyberspace. In the cyberspace and also in our environment. But today we have a different society. This different society not live in face-to-face, but just live in digital. So always use messengers, so emails, not just, so to be honest, we have some ethics. You don't call me, just send to me message, because if you call me, I will be just busy. But please don't disrupt me, just send me message to understand how busy I am or not. And after that, if I agree, I will talk with you. So can you just remember, can you just imagine, this just some behavior 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So you were always happy just when somebody called you pick up phone just in talking. So, but today, it's a completely different society. So we use a digital technology for making your connection much easier. So because this happens, so morality is different also. And what we can say, so modern society is concerned about the moral contradictions arising from the widespread use of modern cyber technologies. I say, and I agree with that, with this point of view. With the advent of cyberspace, a person has a serious moral dilemma. Abandon all the rules or create them based on your aspirations. So I explain how this rule makes. This is really, I agree with us, this big dilemma. So, and I can say negative, some ethical aspect of cybernetization or digitalization of life, of our life. So this is loss of real world value, how I explained just about some conversation face-to-face or conversation by call, so people don't really want to use it this way. Another one, in computer gaming addictions. Oh my God, so many things happens with that, with the computer gaming, and then we can find some striking, and the school in America and in Russia as well. Unfortunately, we got this crime 2 weeks ago in the parent, It's a 400 kilometers from Yekaterinburg city, and unfortunately it was terrible. How many people were killed? 15?
No,
12 people were killed in the university, So why? It's a computer gaming happened. So behavioral programming, blurring the boundaries between false and reliable information, quite easy today make it fake, and this is really big problem. So weakening of real communication, clarity, activity, identity as well. As I say, it's invisible today, just invisible connection, and loss of trust in socio-political institution, personal insecurity, prevailing inclusiveness, and social sphere. So it's also because we have a lot of fakes. Ethical issues, which we're talking about, issues of freedom of speech, anonymity, jurisdiction, and trust are widely discussed today. So talking a lot about this, but unfortunately can't find some solutions, which agree everybody with. So, and what we have, what kind of ethic questions, ethic issues, to be honest. So can users post any message they wish on public websites, their personal pages? This, from first point of view, it's just my private territory, I can't do it. But from another one, if you have so many followers, it became like a media. And just your information, just influence of your followers, and maybe if this is a followers, resend just your some message to another one, and they make this information spread everywhere. It's gonna be hard, just for some boys, for some girls, for some people, and also just for some society, for us, how this influence. So it is acceptable to browse the web anonymously under a pseudonym. This is really important also, which I'm talking about, because it's easier to make a crime because it is invisible. That's why this have opinion in society and just and also in science and just law and the government, about anonymously. So each user of internet has to be making control, has to be just about passport and by just his name and something like that. So this is two ethical issues. This is most really important and most hard. So in cyber environment offers sexual maniacs, the opportunity to communicate, create and distribute content, as well as the ability to access new victims, either offline or through internet space, such as instant messaging or social networking site. So I think the professors that we have a darknet, just this is terrible just a cyberspace, and make a lot of some sexual maniacs, and not just some pedophilia, and some crimes make it in this terrible space. So let me just explain some common causes of unethical and illegal behavior in cyberspace. First of all, we can say this is ignorance of legal norms and criminal law prohibitions. Another one, untimely detections of criminal and unethical intentions, because it's really hard to detection of this one. The absence of fear of punishment, or the hope that in particular case it will not come, because invisible, I say. Low probability of being caught, happy-go-lucky attitude. That's really interesting. Just this is Russian, happy-go-lucky. Happy-go-lucky. It's a Russian, just some definition, but anyway, it's quite interesting. So, and also just low probability of criminal prosecution, hope for the use of exemption mechanisms. So all of this is problem not for science, not for criminology, but also for criminology as well, just in my opinion, but also the practitioners, for the police department and the prosecutors, because all of these things has to do prosecutors and police departments. So today there are also spiritual and moral problems, which I like it, expressed in the development of cyber technology in the field of biological reproduction of mankind. So the first direction of cyborgization, and the second direction, cyborgization. So we can just understand what kind of cyborgization we have. So first of all, the cyborgization is a good idea because we use some things, in order to invalidate.
Disable.
Yeah, in order to avoid our disable, for example, So we have okay, yeah, we have. It's exactly the same about the first direction. So the resolution of problems goes by the complete or partial loss of organs of their functions. That's why this making you disabled. But their replacement, these organs, with artificial implantation of microscopes, avoid this problem. And that's why this is really good for supervision. But it's another one. Complement the capabilities of healthy person with the help of certain mechanical and electronic devices that are in close contact with the human body. So everybody knows, just we can make it today some special equipment for your heart. So in order to make it pulse much more, just like intensive. Yeah, thank you. So, and finalize this with our part number one. We just try to talk about criminal law, interaction of cyber technology with the criminal law. So what kind of cyber crimes we have? We have some types. It's the crimes in cyberspace. So just in my opinion, we have two types. It's the new crimes, which I mentioned before, so which we didn't just find something, and traditional crimes. And this is committed in the cyberspace. So new crimes is, for example, violation of the availability, integrity, and confidentiality of electronic information. The object of crimes combines the newly legally protected interests that have emerged in connection with the formation of cyber technologies. It exactly happens with the cyber technologies and with the formation of that. But traditional crimes are completely different, but also this is, for example, theft of property, violation of privacy, distribution of child pornography, and others, the commission of which has moved into cyberspace and which are committed through the use of cyber technologies. So, just a simple words I can say. The new crimes, it's when cyber technology has to be protected of communications as well. But in traditional crime, you use cyber technology for making crime. What is the difference between these two? Some definitions about new crimes and traditional crimes. So, what kind of problem we have with the crime? So, the problem associated with crimes planned or committed in cybernetic space concern not so much their identification as the definition. I'm sorry, have to just send some message. Yeah, good. Oh yeah, how can I say? Okay, the problem associated with the crimes planned or committed in cyberspace concerns not so much their identification as the definition of the nature of the environment in which they are committed. So we have to understand what kind of just space we have. This is really, really important. And the cyber environment makes it possible for a criminal to commit crimes that are not related to geographical and jurisdiction boundaries. This creates problems for traditional enforcement of regulatory requirements. Even at the national level, since the same crime can be committed in many countries at the same time. The same act can and will be evaluated differently in each jurisdiction. And to be honest, as I said just the last my part, knowing that investigative officers are not active enough in the cyber environment, and the criminals can minimize the risk of zero disclosure and punishment. What we have, how I can explain, so unfortunately today we don't have the same rules in each country. So to be honest, we have a country when cybercrime is not a crime, or maybe it's not a crime enough. And the criminals knows about that and use this jurisdiction for making crime from this jurisdiction. But problem is that just a crime makes not in this jurisdiction, which I mean just when no crime, for example, happen in some African countries, but crime makes, for example, in Brazil or Russia. So, and we have a problem when a crime is finished. And what kind of jurisdiction you just have to just use it for judge for criminals. These are really important things, you know, and we talk a lot also about some geographical and jurisdiction boundaries. And I have a one point. For example, you know, so we have some geographical in the criminal law. This geographical means we have a space, Susha, yeah, it's correct. Yeah, space. We have a water like an ocean, and we have a just sky. We have a free, and today we have a force. It's a cyberspace. And how we can say, when, for example, we use some ships, you know, or just fly, we can say this is fly, or this ship, or this machine. If, for example, stay on the different countries geographically, but the jurisdiction has to just stay exactly which ship has. For example, ship Russian Federation came to Brazil, so in jurisdiction of Russian Federation on the ship. The same things I think we can make use for cyberspace, because we have some difference, you know, with a, oh my God, sorry. We have some difference. Как это сказать? Rule, US, com. Huh? No, it's not rules. Вот когда мы говорим .ru, .com.
.com.
.com, it's okay. But we can just use not just jurisdiction, but like environment just for making your website, for example. And it's called .ru, which means this is Russian, you know, or maybe .com, it's maybe United States or some difference. So, and I think, for example, is this website or just another one, make it, and just in the point, if we're going to this website, so you make a crime exactly in this territory, in this website. So this website, for example, is a Russian, that's why just this is Russian law jurisdiction, or maybe United States. It's sorry just about some maybe not understandable but meanings, but anyway, I can try. So we just finished our first part. It's really good, it's really nice. So let me start part. Do you have some questions, Pedro or Professor Braga? No, thank you. So let me start just from the first. Yes?
Pedro?
Yeah?
Pedro, você está mutado. I ask Pedro to speak now, Professor.
Okay, I'm okay now.
Do it's some questions, sorry? Do you have some questions?
Ele perguntou se tem alguma questão, alguma dúvida, se quer colocar para ele agora. Não?
Não, tranquilo.
No, it's okay, Denis. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I just want to say that we are enjoying very much your class.
Yeah. Okay. So let me start just with a general overview of cybercrimes. We start just a little bit about traditional and new crime, and we have two parts also: the main features of cybercrimes and the transnational nature of cybercrimes. And we talk about these main issues of transnational of cybercrime. So let me start from the first part. So the cybercrimes, the main features of cybercrimes. The cybercrimes are hard to have the following features. Firstly, the secrecy which is provided by the specific of the cyberspace, the transnational nature of cybercrimes, that special preparedness of offenders, that complexity and non-standard variety and frequent uptending of methods, and the possibility of carrying out of crime in automatic mode, and multi-episode nature of crimes with a large number of victims. The last part is really, really interesting, just in my opinion, because you use it as a database, use this information, you can make a lot of victims, some violation of those victims. So the last slide. Cybercrime is a socially dangerous criminal act committed with the help of cyber technologies and cyberspace, and all with use responsible for each is provided for by a criminal law. And cyber criminality, but also cyber criminality, is a type of crimes in which the implementation of a criminal act is possible only with the use of cyber technology and should take place in cyberspace, while the consequences may go beyond it. But also just what I have to say for this one, why is this also socially dangerous criminal act? Just in my opinion, firstly, because this cybercrime, which is from the last slide, make a lot of violence in an easy way, only following one click. That's why this is really dangerous. And it spread information everywhere, also, and very, very fast, and just very, very huge. That's why this is socially dangerous criminal act. So some elements of cybercrime. It's really also important. Cyber technology contributes to the commission. The harm is determined by cyber interference, double criminality, and intent to cause harm. All of this has to make cybercrime like a crime. Я убиваю, что-то напечатал. The global philosophic category, space. And we talked before about cyberspace and how it's really hard definition for that. So because so many communications between just telecommunications, because computer processes and many things, but also the global philosophical category space cannot be taken in its pure form and transferred to the problematic field of the theory of state and law. So we can't use it. We can't use it, especially the territorial effect of legal norms, unfortunately, because it's a completely different space. It's not a classic space. And the cybercrimes usually have a transnational character, and the presence of manifestation of the territory or another state of an element or significant consequences of a crime, or when part of a cybercrime is committed on the territory of another country. We talk a lot about that. And consequently, in instance, the transnationalism of the cybercrime activity involves going beyond the territorial boundaries of a single state territory. It's understandable. So how it's used? I can make a crime in Brazil, stay in Russia, in the same way as from Brazil to Russia as well. So, another one, cybercrimes with a cross-border nature are characterized by the presence of foreign elements, as such can be recognized. We're talking exactly foreign elements. That's why it's important some international rules and international law in order to protect from crime. So, firstly, what we have to recognize in the perpetrator, actus reus, the object of the crime in the event of mismatch of the object with the place of commission of the crime. We talk about. Yeah, sorry. Thank you. So, from the first of all, as I said before, it's not necessary to immediately reject the previously developed approaches to determine the territory of the commission of a crime in the air, sea, in water space, as I said before. So, in the case of cyberspace, an individual finds himself on the territory of an internet resource virtually, which does not interfere and moreover allows him to perform certain physical actions on the territory of this internet resource that falls under the jurisdiction of a particular state. So that's why just we can find the crime just as a different territories and just the crime is started. But it's really important for us when the crime is finished. But also when we understand it's finished, we can understand also when we started. Because cyberspace is not a territory. It's not a territory when just a crime seated and click it just this is computer. The most important things when this crime make it, this is cyberspace. For example, if you stay in the South Africa, and just make a crime in Russia, in the Russian website, this is crime must be jurisdiction just in the Russia, not Africa. Criminal law protection of the telecommunication in Russia. I think it's also interesting for you, friend. But also, before that, so we have a retrospective of criminal law protection until objects of cybercrime, actus reus, mens rea, and complicity in cybercrimes. So, but before that, to be honest, before that, or maybe just in the last. Okay, let me start. Anyway, so what we have in the Russian Federations, and we also just some retrospective of criminal law protection of the telecommunication just generally. Okay, I was right. It was in 1979. The first crime committed using a computer has been registered. According to the official published float, the postal operator, who is that? I don't remember. It was New York, yeah. It was in New York City. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so for 2 years committed embezzlement of funds of state bodies of the amount. Oh, it was in Russia. Sorry, it's rubles. Just to nothing. Okay, it was 1979. But it was really minor crime. So, but the major happens in 1991 when just 125,000 US dollars were stolen from the Vnish Economic Bank of the USSR in preparation for the theft of over 5,000 US dollars using computer equipment were prevented. In 1991, the draft law started of the RSFSR. It was just a Russian, it was the Soviet Union, on responsibility for offenses when working with information. So it's happened in the United States, USSR, sorry. And the first law on justice is the draft of law, like a project of law, and it happened just in the Russian Federation, like a Republic of Soviet Union. So today we have just 30 years anniversary of law, today 2021, So then 1992, some resolution of the Supreme Council of the Russian Federation. So Soviet Union crashed, Russian Federation just make it like a new. So anyway, from 1992. And this is just a law name on the procedure for the enactment of the law of Russia, the legal protection of programs for electronic computers in database. 1994, the development of a draft law or amendments to the Criminal Code of the Russian Federation. 1995, draft of the Criminal Code of the Russian Federation was published, which provided for Chapter 29 computer crimes. And like today, In 2011, can you imagine, my friend? So 1995 plus start, and 1995 to 2011, how many? 16 years. So we just quiet with this law, but how many happens things? So, but anyway, it's adoption of federal law number 420 of December 7, 21, an amendment to the Criminal Code of the Russian Federation. 2012, another some different meanings. In 2017 as well. Also, it's also quite interesting what happened in 2017. 2017, we in Russia we made a special law on the security of the critical information infrastructure of the Russian Federation. It's quite interesting. What does that means? So, but just for your understanding, the Russian government understood that infrastructure, digital infrastructure, is a critical information infrastructure, because you can make a terrorism attacks, just following by, as I said before, one click, making some atomic bombs, just, or maybe just stop atomic station, for example, in how many just violations happens following this click. That's why this has to be secured. So, and also in 2017, we have just law about this protection of information, critical information of the Russian Federation, and also just this is some criminal law. So, retrospective of criminal law protection, and we can say some adequate reactions, just some emergence of new norms of the criminal code containing a qualifying feature. So, we have a number of articles of criminal legislation with, I think, it's adequate response to the criminal practice developing in the field under consideration. So we got just a lot of just some numbers. It's not interesting. So, but I can say these crimes should be attributed to those crimes where cyber technologies, namely information and communication networks, which are the basis of telecommunications, has act a means of committing a crime. So some quite interesting, just a criminalization, so what happens? So both unique cybercrimes and actions committed using computer technology, electronic and information and telecommunication networks, including the internet, are subject to criminalization. So what we think about that, what have to be just criminalized? It's slander, falsification of registers, illegal disclosure of information, production, sale of payment cards, illegal export of equipment, deliberate false report, espionage, we can say, and disclosure of legal protected and disclosure of information about the security measures applied to specific persons. It's just, we think just in Russian Federation, we can say that one. Quite interesting point. What was the object of cybercrimes? The genetic, we have some different objects in Russian criminal law. It's a generic objects, it's a specific objects also. So what we have is section 9. Oh, it's quite maybe not understandable for just my audience, but I can explain. And I completely disagree today with that, because just I think the object in general today, it's like information security. Information security, not like today, just as a set of public relations established by normative legal acts. It's too hard and too boring. So we have to say, we have information, we have to secure this information. That's why that's why information safety has to be secured, just in my opinion. It has to be just generic object in Russian law. This is my PhD, and this is not just I mean in my PhD. So about specific object. This specific object is the order of public relations regulating the production, use, distribution, and protection of computer information. So computer information can exist in the different forms. And information, how we could say, created or transformed with the help of cyber technologies, located or having traces in cyberspace or record as information interlinking network and system or a machine medium. So it's in computer information how they just can exist. So, and also just some object of crimes. So is it? Oh no, sorry, it's different. Wait, it's yeah. So, just in my opinion, just we have some many pages, but about details of Russian law. But I think we don't have to use it. This one. So just please, just it's not interesting. So I think let me just go ahead. Yeah. Actus reus of cybercrimes. I think is more important. Actus reus, yeah. Actus reus of cybercrimes. This is type of consequences of committing a crime. So some under article, but I think it's a general, we can say. So it says the blocking of computer information and copying computer information, modification of computer information, destruction of computer information as well. And the current wording of Actus reus provide an article 2072 of the Russian Federation. Just in my opinion, there are no possible situation in which the consequences defined in the criminal law cannot occur. But the actual possession of information by a third party can cause significant harm to its owners. That's why just I have it going to be criminalized in this one. This is different. So we also just make some new edition of this part of this article, but I think it's not interesting. Yeah. So some new crimes will also make it. So just I propose to legislative. So and just Professor Pedro knows that I know many. So and just my proposal also just use it. So I can send it. Okay, it's some definition. So it's also interesting what is this definition of the term malicious program. So it's a program designed to carry out unauthorized access to information and influence information to inform information. It's also just very important. But the very fact of creating such a program should be considered sufficient to recognize the criminal act as completed. This is very interesting. You don't need to use, but you have to create. Okay. Okay. Не надо было это пошутить. Надо было международное уходить. It's not interesting. It's Russian. Sorry. Good. Are you sure? It's a mens rea. No. Mens rea, not interesting also. I think this one. No. Complicity. So, yeah, and quite interesting this point of view. Mens rea of cybercrimes. In our opinion, the presence of assigned knowledges in this construction of a legal norm regarding the creation of a malicious program is superfluous. That's why just we make a new edition of part number 1. And this means creation of computer programs or other computer information for the purpose and after the destruction, blocking, modification, copying of computer information or neutralization of computer information protection means or their deliberate use or distribution of media with such programs. So this definition is really important. But also just unfortunately we don't have in presentation so some different interesting things what I mean. So to be honest, so I explained just you are right. So yeah. Oh yeah. And some complicity in cybercrime. This cybercrime is currently characterized by the active formation and organized groups. The difference between such as organized groups and traditional types of organized groups are manifested in the following. All participants have a high level of professional training in their field, which allows us to talk about cybercrime as professional type of crime. Sophisticated technical systems are used to common crimes. It's difficult to determine the moment of unification of the group of members. Use of all or robotics in crimes. This is also really interesting things. So, and now I have talked, so I finished my presentation. Thanks for your kind presentation. Sorry just for too hard. It's less than 1 hour. So, but anyway, 43 slides. So what I have to say also, this is really important also about robotics. As you know, today we just stay really hard, just and really fast with robotics. Today we use so many military robotics, so many military robots. For example, if when I started just my PhD, I didn't research this information about robots, about military, but I found it, and today I can just find some and in the mass media, for example, in Russia,
Studies.
And not studies, but like training, in military training, when we use robots. And for example, president and minister of defense just propose these military robots. But the point is, if we have just military robots and artificial intelligence, who will be just main roles? Who will be just obligate for making crime of these robots? This is really important things. So many people just say, oh, so professor, it's going to be just maybe some artificial intelligence had to be judged, or maybe just robots judged. And I always say no. Always judge who makes these robots, makes these programs, and also who use it, how you use, these robots, and how just does this robot just make a crime. So, and how you just can not imagine, but can and imagine,
Realize.
and can you realize, this just robot can make a crime also. What happens, for example, in some different things. We can use in internet so many videos when just a robot just shutting, some with understand when somebody stay, and shut. But for example, if this robot make a mistake and shut another person, not exactly this, who will be just judged? In my opinion, only human. Only human today, not robots, not artificial intelligence. And also, unfortunately, we don't have this in the presentation. We have a big problem with the transnational crime, cybercrime, I mean. And what we have to do? Just in my opinion, we have to make some simple things. We have to make international rule. We can't avoid these boundaries. We don't have boundaries in cyberspace. We can make boundaries in cyberspace. But we can rule international law following United Nations. And quite interesting, Pedro, quite interesting situation happened in 2019 or 2018. It's a quite interesting situation happened. The Russian Federation and China proposed to United Nations Assembly some declaration about cybercrime. This is a big declaration, just 300 pages, and they just propose the most important things for you understand, some crime. And this crime has to just law, and not for all countries in the world, but also for countries in the United Nations. Mm-hmm. Please, but not please, with direct order, if you make this declaration, this kind of crime has to mention in your criminal law. And this kind of crime has to just be criminalized, What do you think happens? Quite interesting. Big conversation about this crime, espionage, for example, or not crime. What kind of crime? What you have to do? can you go to the United States? And the United States just can send okay, no problem, just all information for you guys, it's no problem. First of all, who say we have a lot of problems with that, it was United States. United States. So, and simply just make a decision. Okay, we make a research for all countries, have to make a research about situation with the cybercrime. Please explain all what happens in your country, what kind of just situation right now, please explain. How many we spent? 2 hours. 2 hours now just for achieved all of these reports. Quite interesting reports from different countries. It's absolutely open information in the United Nations website, so you can just read it. It's no problem. I can send you a link. You have to say we don't have any problem. We have a nice law. Absolutely everything is okay. We control situation, so don't worry. We are like it. Same with France, Germany, British. It's okay, no problem. So, but anyway, following this situation, as I remember, it happens in the 3rd of December of 2019. This declaration was voted by Assembly of United Nations. I mean, this declaration from Russian government, from just Russian representatives of United Nations. So, but today is 2021. 2 years. Declaration, we have it. It's voted. So everything should be okay. But it mentioned, for doing that, we need 5 years. For making crime in different countries, for understanding how we can do 5 years. But it's really, really understandable. The technologies too fast. Not so, but too fast. And the same things, but it's completely different. The law, too slow. We can't achieve technology today. I mean, law behind technology. 100 years, I can say. So our law and technology completely, just not with each other. That's why just we think, when some new technologies make it, firstly, we have to just law expertise for that. We need the criminology for that. Firstly, when you make a technology. And after that, please go ahead. Before, no. But today, technology, really, really fast. As I say, too fast and too slow. That's why just I think we can a little bit make a slow technology. It's enough. People, I think, really tired from technology as well. So many, too many, I can say. So thank you, Pedro. Thank you for your attention. I'm just so sorry, maybe some difficult, just to understand some words or maybe some definition, but I explain how I can. Sorry for my English, for my pronunciation. Maybe it was not understandable to you, but sorry about that. But remember, I'm just Russian.
That's always the excuse. I'm just Russian. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was an amazing class, Denis, but it was a class of a criminologist, and you expose problems that we as criminologists find when we have to face law, and law is always very slow in relation to reality. It's why they discuss that, they have a big talks about anything that they can, because we as criminologists, we have to study, analyze the impacts of technology in impacts of law in society. Is what anyway, it's our predicament.
It's exactly, Pedro, it's exactly what I said before. It's exactly what I said before. So today, today we have time, and we have to understand that technology has to develop with law, exactly with law. So, and also without it going to be prohibited. And in order to go with law, we have to analyze firstly, not firstly now, but firstly for law, but also just with the civil law, with the criminology law, criminal law, and also with the criminology. That's why, just in my opinion, it's going to be criminology expertise from you, criminologists. Understand how this technology influence on people, for example, how this technology make a crime. If I remember, Pedro, do you remember you were in our conference in Kabbalah readings 2017, as I remember. But in the last year, 2018, we had a nice conference with a nice topic. And this topic means criminology and the criminal law in, for example, architectures. Architects. You understand what I mean? Architects. So it was quite interesting topic between architects, designers, and a criminologist. Can you imagine, for example, quite interesting expertise. Most murders make it in the arc. Do you understand what I mean? Arc. In the street. For example, building, and in building inside, we have an arc. So people come, some space, nobody's seeing, and most murders happen in the arc. But if you make a chair for sitting close to this arc, crimes is not happening. Gun, really less. Another point. So many people like defense. Huge defense. 2 meters higher, fence, sorry. Huge fence, 2 meters
big
high.
walls.
Big wall. But the point is, for criminal, much better. I come to this fence, nobody's seeing me. Inside. But if you make an open fence, everybody sees it. It's terrible for crime. Nobody comes as well. Also, less crimes. The same things with the cybercrime. We have to, or just, for example, Apple, Amazon, and other just companies make just new technology, have just hire criminal.
Dennis.
Yes.
Allow me a question.
Yes, please.
Just to finish, because I have a question for you that I am dying to put to you. In fact, it's a fact. When the law of data protection came out in Europe, the reaction of companies, of firms, was very negative, because they said that to adapt the activity of companies to the new law, it would be very expensive. In fact, and this for the big companies, and for the small companies, it was absolutely impossible to adapt their technology to the new law in Europe, because the new, as you know, the data protection in Europe is very strict, and anyway, quite well, as far as law can be, well done. And I ask you, how companies react to the laws? In fact, you mentioned to us a long list of Russian laws that have been produced in the past 20 years. So your companies had a long time to adapt themselves to the laws. Here in Brazil, our data protection law is quite recent, some 2 years ago. And I mean, I see no reaction from the companies because the companies just don't care. They simply keep doing things as they come. They wait for reaction from society. For instance, I have problems with one of my banks now. They expect the things to happen. And they expect you to put a case against them, and they wait for the judge to come out with a decision. And I tell you, and you know it quite well, judges come very slow. They don't understand properly, I mean, basic concepts, basic notions, as you just done now in your class. And I ask you, how do Russian Federation companies adapt or adjust to the legislation in the country?
I can ask you just simply to you, Pedro, we don't have another way. Unfortunately, we can say just many things. We can just talk a lot, about that. But this is new era, digital era. We don't have another way, unfortunately. And let's say again. So, for example, government make a lot of laws, not also about protection, but also about protection just as a government sovereign, and also just about protection finance, and also just protection about tax of law. For example, why they do that? I ask you, and this question as well, in order to make a control on all of us, not only companies, like you say, but also all of the humans, all of the people. It's understandable, and we can't avoid. We can't avoid that. It's also hard. It's understandable. It's hard. And as you say, it's absolutely very expensive for big, but for small companies, it's absolutely impossible, as you say. You are correct. But without that, we can't do. For example, the small company can't use it, can't live, I can say, without a special just a computer. For example, send a tax declaration to tax department. Because the tax department, for example, today not received classic declaration, only online declaration. In order to do that, you need a computer, you need just a special service and something like that. But our life, to be honest, became much easier. Because, for example, in Russia, we have a special service, government service mentioned. Government service. For example, sit here in my office or in my home. I can make you invitation, Pedro. Really easy and really fast. Invitation to Russia, I mean. I don't need to go to migration office. I don't need to know. I don't need to go just and make it just some meeting or something like that, with the migration officer as well. I can do it really, really easy and fast. And I received your invitation, and this invitation received Russian consulate in Brasilia to you immediately, the same time, and it was really, really fast. Another point, the last one. Following this digitalization and make a program, and this is control. For example, tax department in Russia but find some, it's understandable for you, some white spot in the economic sphere, like not a darknet, but it's like a white, so like a white spot. For example, we have a special tax, and this tax from one company to another company has to come, and sometimes just is come, and now this exactly tax and the sum has to controlled by the tax department by program, special program, and knows where is that. And today, minimize unpayable, I can say, this tax. Free of charge. It was free of charge. On law, I think. But today, not. Because this program. And the government making billions dollars, budget, makes this money to do. So that's why for government, this is really important. And for government, the last my things, absolutely doesn't matter on the small companies. Because money and control. Okay, if you can't do that, can't send declaration by online, go out from this market. You don't have money. You are weak. You are weak. You are weak in the market. Find money. Go to the bank for the credit. And also good story. What I have to say. And also I can say that's about Europe. Following my PhD dissertation, I can say that in Europe, it's really good law about cybercrime. I think the best law in the world today, I can say, to be honest. The best law in the Europe. The following Europe declaration, so very nice. They very make a very good job. Okay. So yeah, it's hard. And just about my company, we also use computer program, use technology, because without that we can't do many things. For example, today we have this 300 clients. How many pages we have also? And remember also really nice things. Remember we were in the office of Professor
Ivan.
No.
Daniel.
In Brasilia.
Professor Viano?
With son of Gustavo.
Gustavo Corte.
Gustavo Corte, son of Gustavo. And do you remember his archive was really small cabinet. It's not cabinet, it's just three branches. And I say, where? He said, we don't have it, we can't. All on the computer. Because we can't conversate we are go to the court by online. And it's sent all papers by online. That's why we don't need big apartment, big office, for archive or for something like that. We need a computer. But this also save money, to be honest, but not too much.
Okay.
Thank
Denis,
you, Pedro.
Thank you very much for your patience, for your time, because I know your time is very dear. You charge a lot for your services, but anyway.
And remember, my friend, today is Friday, and Friday evening, to be honest, I have to go to my wife, for a glass of wine with her. But today is Friday, and also
to your wife.
How is Maria? I have to say, really beautiful. Your woman. She's nice.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good. I never forget our walking to Brasilia. When we just walk a lot with me, never forget this experience. It was really nice. He's professor of Brasilia. Just during the street, explained me many stories just about your life, about your student life, about your just experience. Oh, I think this absolutely another just conversation, during maybe just not glass of wine, but also just maybe some shot of vodka, Russian vodka, exactly.
You're very kind. Thank you very much.
I think Corona will be finished, and I all invite you to Russia. Our hospitality.
I know very much.
It was only cold in the outside, but inside really hot.
Yeah.
Really warm, you know.
I take the opportunity to invite everybody who is watching to visit Russia because it's a fantastic country. As you say in Russia, Brazil is the Russia of the South, and Russia is the Brazil of the North.
Yeah. But Russia much better than Brazil, to be honest.
Oh, well, sure. Thank you, Lélio. Lélio, muito obrigado pela tua paciência.
We have a Far East, you know. We have a Far East, Siberia, so many rain. Oh my God, many rivers, many fish, hundreds. Oh, very nice. I love it. I'm going to the Far East for fishing this Sunday for tuna. Yeah, tuna come to Far East, you know, to Far East, Japanese Sea. So very nice.
Thank you,
guys.
Professor Denis.
E você vê que essa conversa tá sem cachaça, sem vinho e sem vodka, na boa.
One of the most beautiful memories that I have from Russian, it's about that goalkeeper, Dasayev. Is Dasayev the name of
Dasayev? Okay.
Dasayev. It was a amazing goalkeeper when Brazil played with Russian. I was only 12 years old, but I was with much fear because this Dasayev, it was one of the best goalkeepers of the world in my point of view.
You see, Denis, he remembers. He's very young. He remembers Dasayev. I remember Yashin.
Yashin, yes,
right.
Yashin.
Right. It's exactly what I just signed here. Just from my trip, just from Brazil, I came to Argentina, to Buenos Aires. Remember, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was in Brazil. So, yes. and I came to a wine boutique in Buenos, and just say, okay, what kind of wine you have? And I saw this special wine. Make it in Argentina, special wine, Lev Yashin.
What?
Yashin goalkeeper. I bought it. I brought to my sons, and his sons just really fun, just for football, for soccer, you know. And how it was? 3 years. This bottle not open yet.
Yeah,
not open yet.
Now, Lev Yashin, he was called the Black Spider.
When Russia achieved World Cup, you know, maybe it's never happened.
Quite difficult.
I understand Brazil much better than Russia in this situation, but not
nowadays. Not nowadays. Anyway.
Pedro, eu vou pedir para você então encerrar, Pedro, e agradecer o professor.
Olha, com muita dor no peito, eu estou encerrando essa sessão, porque realmente, quando a gente está com russos, e particularmente com o Denis, você fica muito bem, você fica em casa, né? Só faltava um pouco de vodka para a gente ficar completamente calibrado. Mas, gente, eu agradeço demais. Essa aula do Denis foi espetacular. Deu, assim, chance para a gente discutir questões de criminologia tendo a tecnologia como tema. Vocês percebem, né? Vocês sabem, vocês trabalham com isso e percebem como é difícil, mas, enfim, se fosse fácil, não seríamos nós que estaríamos aqui. Valeu, então, obrigado, viu? Denis, thank you very much. I'm just thanking our audience and with deep compliments to you and the best wishes for you, for your family, particularly to your wife, who I know very well. And God save Russia, our mother Russia, and God save Brazil. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay,
bye-bye.
Thank you. And remember, guys, just behind me, just read our just point on the wall. We make it the law on your side.
For a change.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Have a nice day. Have a nice Friday.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, obrigado.
Bye-bye.
Abração.
Bye-bye.